Blast off.
What's up, cyberspace cadets? It's Irate PROSTATE here with another edition of Chaos 120. And tonight, it's Wednesday night, the 6th of June, 2018. And I've got the lovely TerraSynn with me. Others will be joining us shortly. That's right. Well, how you been doing, Tara? Talk to me. What's going on?
Oh, I've been doing okay. I ended up in the hospital again, but
What
turns
happened?
out I only have I have fungal ringworm.
Okay, okay. Well, that's all right. So they've got something that you can help. They can help you with that.
Yeah, or I could go even cheaper and just use bleach on my arm.
Oh, well, that'll do it. I know that yeah, usually fungal type things aren't very friendly when it comes to you know, bleach. Or not many living things are.
Yeah. Also, it helped me accrue a medical bill so I can reapply for my free healthcare coverage.
Oh wow, okay, cool. Well, that's good. Uh, so, um, so you got anything you want to shell for the next week or next
Um,
couple of days?
all I'm really shilling is that I'm going to be setting up a PayPal, and I need people's help to help me get a new sewing machine
Alrighty. So,
because mine broke.
oh,
The
all right.
tension knob, it broke in the back, and the companies I've contacted, they've just told me I need to get a new machine.
Oh wow, okay. Well, I guess when they call, you got to answer the phone, don't you?
Pretty much. Scoobie's in the waiting room.
Oh wow, Scoobie, what's happening, man? I gotta get y'all. Hello, Scoob. You I got your microphone is muted there.
Muted.
Yeah. Oops. He disappeared.
The Scooby fell out.
Where's that? Where's,
Poor Cookie Monster.
where's that echo coming from?
I have no clue. I thought it might have been the other window being open, but that's not it.
Yeah, you think? So I'm not hearing it now. Well, there it was. Don't know what's going on there. It's a mystery. Okay. Um,
Here, let me jump out and you can pull me back in.
okay. All right. And while she's out, I'm going to try to see if this is me, if the echo is my fault, and I'm not hearing any kind of echo whatsoever. So that narrows it down a wee bit there. So hope everybody's doing all right. See if we got to see some people out there. Malevolent Rider, of course, Johnny Hellcat, Chief Lakota, American Celt, and of course Uzi Q, my better half, and my lovely wife is out there. They're just wonderful people. How y'all doing? Give me a one if you're doing good tonight, having a good night. All right, Tara, try it now.
Is there an echo? Yes,
No,
and it's not me because I turned down my voice volume.
I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing the echo at
I'm
all.
hearing myself.
Are you?
Yep.
Shoot. Talk again.
One, two, three, four. I don't hear it this time.
Okay. So it should be. I don't know. Maybe I got my thing turned down on my end here. So Uzi Q was just telling me my audio was low. So we don't know. It's a mystery. It's this electronic stuff, and frickin' OBS decided to update. So that's always a good thing. And I don't see my man Ubiskay. Where'd he go?
No clue.
He has to. Yeah.
Oh, my app goes back. God damn it.
You did. Are you logged in like you're here? I think you are. I think because I remember seeing you with the like you.
I'm logged in via my phone. We'll see what happens when I get to my computer.
Okay. Just may have to put up with it.
Because remember, I is a ghetto Uber driver.
That is school. All right. I'm
Not
trying.
official Uber, but
That's right. You got your little home thing going on. Okay.
it keeps gas in the car.
That's right. That is key wrecked. All right. I'm trying to just see what's going on here. Um, I haven't heard anything from Mountain, our vet buddy, Mountain Veteran Man. And
Scoobie's back, but he's still muted.
all right, all right, Scooby. Yeah, try to unmute your mic, or I can do it. Let me see if I can undo it. No, it's not muted on the server, so it's a. All you got to do is unmute yourself, dude, and you should be fine. Hey, oh,
I hate technical difficulties.
yeah. Ah, oh shit, he's gone. Every time I see it disappear, I think he's got it, and then he's gone. He's gone. So, well, shit. I know I hate OBS is just when it updates, it's usually all some stupid farty thing going on with it. Um, and I always have to figure out what it is. It takes a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut on the psychedelics, and so everybody can mellow out.
I've usually found that when updates do that, if you uninstall and reinstall the program because it's got the update already built in there,
Right,
you don't have any more issues. Oh my god, he spoke for a second, then he muted again.
Scooby.
I'm here.
There he is. All right. Well, now the party can start properly. How are you, Scooby?
Hanging in there. Sorry, guys. Microphone was just not working. Discord does that sometimes. It freezes up on me and won't.
Yeah, and OBS just decided to do an update today out of nowhere. So
That sucks.
it's a it's a perfect storm of dumbage.
Yeah. Thin day across the board.
So you having a good day, man?
I on the upside, I ran into my best friend. I haven't seen her in a few years.
Oh wow. How was that?
It was interesting. I was telling her what I was doing. Doing this with all you guys.
Hmm.
Um, that is to like slide into a conversation. I figured out how to do it. I I told her what we were doing, and oof. Uh, yeah, my wife ain't here tonight because my sister-in-law was she had to go to the hospital and get some tests done. So
Oh yeah. Well, I'll keep her in my prayers, man. I know that you,
appreciate that. I
yeah.
didn't know that Terra was going to be street racing tonight. That's awesome.
It's green light, go. So yeah, so we're still doing like the pre-show. So if you got anything you want to talk about, Scooby?
Okay, sure. You guys know the drill. I'm Scoobie331. You can find me on here on YouTube. I'm on Minds.com, Gab AI, Patreon, and PayPal. On Twitter again, this is the damnedest thing. Um, I guess I must have been banned for a good 8 years solid, and all of a sudden it's up. So my Twitter account was reactivated.
That,
Oh, It's weird. I'm back on my original Twitter account.
That is really strange. When I saw that, it's been so long, man, I was like, God damn, it's like they really hold a grudge, don't
Yeah.
they?
I started off going after and Cuomo about yeah probably about 8 years ago, right when they all first came into power. I started going after them, and they clipped my wings quick.
Man, it's just crazy. They do.
Irate, my brother messaged me on Facebook saying he can barely hear any of us.
Oh, really? All right. I've got everybody in here sounds really loud to me. Um, so Uzi Q says, "All right, is it low?" Yeah, she said it was low too. All right, is that any better, Kelt? All right, and it's on a delay too, so it'll take a second. Uzi Q, and while we're waiting,
Curious, where the hell is everyone tonight?
let's see. All right,
Oh, Burnside might be getting wasted.
all right, all right. Death Harukin says that's slightly better. God damn it, Whitey. That's a great answer, dude. How you doing, Jimmy Ross? Okay, let's see. All right, and okay, I'll do a little shill on my own. Um, let's see for tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, and 3 o'clock Pacific. Big Fat Brian and I will be looking at the Netflix movie Tremors: A Cold Day in Hell, which is basically Tremors up in the tundra with the worms and the some of the same old faces from the other Tremors movies. So if you want to get our hot take on that, and we'll be joined by Wild Tanuki for this one. He requested specifically that if this film got picked, which it did, that we were going to go over that with him. And then next week, I'm going to try to get Viper Sword because we're looking at anime series called Soidugai, which I think it means just the sword, which looks really cool. The animation style looks it's beautiful, and then of course Friday night Cream Stream. Guest will be director Arcater. Also, Occam will be returning, and then of course Saturday it's drinks with friends. So that's what we got going on my side of the street. So let's see. Tara said that she would be pulling up the news when she got to her computer. So
Very cool.
yeah, man. So it's
Hey,
been a crazy little afternoon. So you got your Twitter account back, and you get. I definitely had to be the first one to tweet on it to give you to bust its cherry. So I felt special doing that. So
yeah, it was cool.
yeah, man.
You hit me up. Thank you.
Ah, dude. You know. Uh, I mean, I'm really it's really kind of tired. I've been doing some stuff around the house too, and it's been kind of hectic. Past 3 or 4 nights, man, it's been real hectic. And I tried to make it to the veterans stream last night, and I got caught up with Sir Adamantine, and then he ended up streaming, and so we started doing this thing, and then it went for a while, and of course, you take a left turn and you expect to, end up in the neighborhood, and then you end up in South America. So and that's kind of it's kind of where that went, man. Oh, but it is what it is, man. So,
I didn't know. He had told me once on the stream. He hates my accent.
oh, Sir Adamantine,
Oh
really?
yeah,
Did he tell you that?
told me. He said, "Look, no offense, nothing personal." He's like, "I can't stand your accent." I said, "All right."
Yeah. Well, well, I don't know, man. I've been around, plenty of people from, from New York and stuff, and it just, I don't know that your accent doesn't phase me at all. As a matter of fact, a lot of people in New Orleans, the New Orleans accent, it sounds a lot like a New Yorker accent, so it kind of reminds me of that too. Um, I had a
So
good,
this, how many Sicilians there are in New Orleans?
oh, there's a lot, dude. There's a
Oh yeah,
huge Italian immigration population there, but because at one point, it was a major port, and a lot of people were getting in the country without having to make it go through the island that way. So, and a lot of them ended up in, in Alabama, with the steel mill and stuff. And of course, New Orleans, because of, it's New Orleans, got shipping and, uh, the whole tourist thing, about it. So there's a lot of money to be made there. So it's a very, um, it's a very rich place. And so, yeah, you get a lot of people. I see you're getting something from Tara here. She wants a link to Discord. I will provide it for you. And the instant invite is
Tara,
here.
you're back.
And she is back.
All right, can you send me a link to your Discord?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And it should be
Bring it in.
in your, yeah, it's in her box. It should be in her box now. I don't know. It's kind of, she might have been on her phone and it's not on her computer yet. That's my
Here I
prediction.
am.
Ah, you sound great.
Still hear the echo.
Yeah, just a little bit. Or is it heavy? I'm not hearing anything. Are you hearing the echo,
Yes.
Scoob?
That badly. I hear myself more than you two.
Yeah. See, I'm not hearing anything.
I think that's OBS or Discord.
Hmm.
But no, my
It's a
computer's not
mystery.
letting me move things up channel, so I'm having to move people around.
Oh, I see. Well, that makes sense. Um, so, um, so we've done the shills. Um, and did you have anything, Scooby? That anything that you've put up? Any videos or anything you made lately?
Oh, let me think. I was today's date, the 6th of June. I'm thinking if there's anything going on this week that I might go film. But think of my own. I think since this weekend, no, nothing new. Thank you for asking, though.
All right, cool. Well, you know that. Remember the other day you were talking about that plane crash that was near you, on the island there.
Yeah, it
Um,
was actually about maybe 2 miles away from my house.
right. It was the Geico. What do they call the something type team?
It was
And
the Republic Airport team.
yeah, and that is the T6 Texan trainers is what they fly. They look very World War II-ish. A lot of times they portrayed Japanese Zeros in war films and stuff. And that was the company that made the Mustang. That made those. And so yeah, it was one of those that crashed, and they were in tip-top condition, man. So it was just something may have been a fuel pipe or you know how that rubber gets, man. On that older it gets, it just gets brittle and crumbles and shit. And they used real rubber back then, so not plastic.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I
what
think
we
it was
do.
a hydraulic line went or something because I was watching the local news and go down. Like I'm close enough where I was like, "What the hell is that noise?" And I just figured that the guy was coming in hot because they'll do that sometimes. These guys that
Right.
come hot dogging in, so fine. And then all of a sudden, I'm watching the news later when we went on the air, and all of a sudden I'm looking and I see that that the plane went down. So I muted myself and I put it on, describing what had happened, and the guy watched it coming down, and he said the guy was coming down with such force that it actually ripped the wings off the plane. This
Wow.
thing was caught in a straight dive. It was going at top speed too. It actually went with such speed the wings actually tore off.
Man, that's crazy.
And he must have been going at a full tilt, and then everything just shut off and went into a dive. So hit the ground at well over 400 miles an hour.
Yeah, because it'll start shaking
Top
and stuff.
speed,
Yeah.
yeah, top speed plus terminal velocity combined.
Boy.
At least he went quick.
Yeah, he went instantly. Probably that's what I was thinking. It's sad, man.
Yeah.
But speaking of such things, today is June the 6th. 74 years ago on this date, the beach of Normandy was assailed by the Allied troops, and the United States, the Canadians, and Great Britain hit the French coast and began the incursion into German occupied territory, which ultimately led, of course, to the defeat. While of course the Russians were on the other side, and there were Allied troops underneath. So it was like a nice wedgie we were giving them. So metaphoric, to say the least. But, yeah. So we celebrate, those people that gave their lives so that we could, sit here tonight and bitch about our country. Um, and
Yeah.
boy, I tell you, man, if they saw what Europe looked like today, I believe a lot of those guys would be ashamed
Yeah.
of what a gift that we gave these people and what they've done with it. So,
It's heartbreaking.
yeah,
Oh, I've been saying this, and my father said this. May he rest in peace. When they tore down that Berlin Wall, my father said he's like they shouldn't have torn down the wall. They should have left the wall up, and they should have like let people in slowly after they put them through a screening process.
hmm
That's the whole problem. Merkel was a communist till she was older than I am now.
Speaking of
That's
the
sad.
speaking of the Berlin Wall, I had commented on this thing on a friend's Facebook page saying, "What's the first major news story you remember?" Berlin Wall coming down, because it was on like the late night news, and my mom woke me up out of a dead sleep. Said about this last night, and I told him everything I remembered, and he was like, "It must have been beautiful."
My first thing I remember was when they shot Reagan. I remember that clear as crystal. That was the one too. That scared the hell out of me when watching that, watching the space shuttle go up, and all of a sudden, boom.
yeah. God, I remember that like it was yesterday, man. I was. You did I tell you all the story the other day about what happened during the election? I was highly influenced by my sculpture professor. I have one of those useless fucking liberal arts degrees where I majored in fine art, painting, printmaking, and sculpture, and sculpture was pretty much my forte. And so I was in with my sculpture professor, and we were watching the shuttle go up. It was when the Sally Ride, was that her name? The teacher that went up. Well, she was the first teacher, the first educator to go into space, right? And it was kind of like an emotional thing for him, because it's like when you when I don't know. Most boys that grew up when I grew up, we grew up wanting to be usually an astronaut and something else, right? Like an astronaut and a doctor, or astronaut and a, a pilot or some shit like that. But astronaut was usually the first one, Um, and so it was a very emotional thing, and he and I were real close, and then over the years, we developed a friendship, and then we lost touch with each other, and then a couple of years back, when I was real active on Facebook, right? This was during the when Romney. This is for Obama's second term, and Romney. Uh, they had their the first debate, and they had the second debate, and it was coming down to the third debate. And I remember this is before he and I had hooked up, but I'm leading up to it. But so and it was like I joked about it because after that election, I had lost about like 50 or 60 friends. Because we were all arguing about what exactly needed to be going on in this country, just for opinions, right? And I said, well, fuck them and shit. So this last election, I started talking about Bernie, and I requoted a Sargon tweet, and his tweet was really I think it was a paraphrasing of, I think, something Churchill said, something to the effect of Karl Marx didn't love the rich as much as he hated didn't love the poor as much as he hated the rich, right?
Right.
And then that professor was like, excuse me. And then I was talking about, how socialism, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, but I think it can work, blah, blah, blah. And I said, dude, this guy was like 30 or 40 years older than me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm arguing with a much older guy. And it just, it escalated and got tougher, and then another teacher jumped in and blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, it's just like boom, everything is cut off. And I realized, man, that everybody had dropped me as a friend because of my belief, because I was I was conservative. I'm actually, I have more of a libertarian um, philosophy with a strong leaning on maintaining the Constitution in its original written form. So um, I guess what you would call a fiscal conservative, where I think that financially, and then I think that less government's the best government. But anyway, so that led, and then I realized that at some point I was going to lose like all these different friends because they would get into these cyclic arguments about shit. And I remember one day I just said, "Fuck this," and I there's a term in science fiction that you'll see in some movies where they're going to airlock somebody, you know, where, where you put them in the airlock and you open it and they go they go out into space and die and shit. And so I think I airlocked like 70 people one day, and that's what I started calling it. And not long after that, I left fucking Facebook because it was just it was so cancerous. Um, so I don't know if it went off on that, but reminded me of the deal with the professor, because I mean he was a big influence on me, man, and it was really shitty that that kind of a simple difference in political views was enough to sever such a long and fruitful friendship. And it was
Yeah, no, I know
purely his
exactly what
choice.
you mean.
So um, it was it was really 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 weird. So any of y'all
Sorry,
have
we got
anything?
3 kids in the house.
So which one are you going to eat first?
Probably my roommate's kid.
Oh yeah. Uh,
But I had to mute myself because I needed to ask Katrina a favor, and so she's trying to help me out because I've got all the stuff set up for a PayPal. It's just I need to add at least a prepaid debit card to it.
right. Um,
She's got a prepaid card somewhere.
so have you guys talked about Have y'all ever had any experiences like what I was talking about with losing friends over elections and shit? Political.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, I
Uh,
made the mistake one time of posting that because it was me that phrased it wrong. It was about Burnside saying going for an alt right guy, and I had tons of people like, "Well, bye."
Right. They
No, I
didn't even.
realized I had phrased it wrong because I then later talked to Burnside. So the next day, I put out a post that was apologetic, but not apologetic. It was just explaining, I phrased it wrong. I got it confused. I'd had very little sleep. So I explained it, and I still had people saying, "Oh, you're with a guy that hates gays and blah blah blah." I'm like, actually, he really doesn't have a problem with them as long as they're not hitting on him.
Exactly. Exactly. That it's so,
And so I lost some friends, but apparently, we weren't really good friends if they're doing that. And please hold on a moment.
I got a
you,
feeling the hammer's going to get swung. What
you
do
know,
you?
I lost a couple of friends on Facebook because of the election, and I guess it's because I'm a New Yorker. They're like the extra crazy ones.
Right.
Like I had one kid that I mean I went to Boy Scouts with this guy, and he's talking to me about how he can't stand he couldn't believe all the hatred he's seeing everyone post on Facebook. And I look at him, I go, talking about. And so he starts explaining it to me, and I'm looking at him, and I forget what he said, but I looked at him, I go, "That's your idea of hatred." What this guy and what you got to understand with a lot of these Democrats around here is they're extra crazy. They make the ones in California. You see, the ones in California are nuts. I differentiate between, it's like what George Carlin said, the difference between a nut and a crazy person. A nut will beat you to death, but they'll be dressed like Bugs Bunny and they'll do it with a steel dildo. That's basically what you have in California is you have all the crazy people. You have the ones that are dressed in the bunny suit using the steel dildo. Here in New York is you got all the nuts. These are the ones that they actually think that this shit is legit. You believe the propaganda, but they're crazy. Ones in New York using this propaganda, but they actually think that this is legit truth. They're
Right.
insane. They're delusional. Their idea of hatred is if you contradict them.
Right.
Megalomaniac shit I've ever heard.
Yeah. And that's it's what's frustrating is that the people are that's I guess that's what the fucking whole point of the of identity politics was to get to a point of where everybody on one side or the other started personalizing their politics to a point of where the politics became a part of them, right? And instead of back in the day when you and I could vote differently on election day, and every other day of the year we could hang around, talk, maybe get an argument or two about uh, what we should do with the troops here or there, or something, or whether they should be there at all, but it would be like, we would be able to leave it, leave the politics at some point. We could leave it behind. We could leave it in the car, or we could leave it at home, wherever the fuck we need to leave it. And people are carrying that with them now, man. And I think that was the whole point of all that. What is it? 30 years of the they called it initially. It's really funny because the Clintons called it the politics of personal destruction. Um, you know, and then it became quote. Boing, they flipped it. When Obama was elected, and it became identity politics. Um,
The sad thing is that up until Obama's second term, shit really wasn't even that severe up here yet. His second term, this is part of the reason, like, when I tell people, well, rather when people start to talk to me about things and they say to me, oh, well, I'm sure that sounds all tinfoil hat to you. Look, I watched them literally roll shit out here. Like, literally, they were, like, A/B testing it
Right.
in a different part of the country. And I tell people all the time, look, I don't think you're being tinfoil hat. This shit dropping left and right in the past 2 years, all this shit coming out in the news all over the place, that the government is as crooked as a country road.
Yep.
Look at how much shit Alex Jones has been right about in the past 2 years. Seriously. Ugly.
Yeah. Let's lay out a couple of them if you want to. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Google.
I'll follow your lead.
All right, let's do this. Let's see. I'm going to Google it. Things Alex Jones has been right.
Shit, I think that's my wife calling. Give me a second.
Sure, man. That's a hack. Okay, the first thing I ran into was the New York Times, and it was a hack job. The danger of ignoring Alex Jones, where it paints him as an evil propagandist that you know goads the masses into a frenzy, and to where we're going to get our pitchforks and shit and go.
But that's the media in general.
Storm the Frankenstein castle and shit. Let's see. Let's see if there's yeah, because there's some that all right, yeah, okay. Top 5 conspiracy theories. All right, this is right before the
Sorry about that. It was my sister.
Okay, everything all right, man?
She's talking to my mother. She didn't even call for me.
Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, all right. Everything that I'm pulling up evidently is pulling up just skewed bullshit.
Just keep in mind, he was right about the gay frogs.
Right, which is a meme now. Which is it's like when I do my Alex Jones imitation, everybody asks me to say that. Talking about the frogs turning gay. Turn the frogs gay, because it's literally a meme now. It's one of his identifying. When anybody does it, I'm sure they get asked to do that because everybody, it was laughable at the time. It sounded stupid. It sounded weird, but fuck, man, the dude was right. And when I do my imitation of Alex Jones, though, I say that the frogs that are gay are really up in Canada, but the American frogs are fine. But that's not really the case either. Let's see. There's all this stuff about 9/11. Uzi Q and I were talking about that. I still. When it comes to the 9/11 stuff, when it comes to the two tall buildings, I'll be honest with you, Scooby. I think that the buildings were probably not built to code perfectly. I think there was probably corners cut because at that point in time, I did some research on the influence.
Hadn't just half the floors been renovated?
I'm not sure about that, but when it was being constructed, that was like during the height of the Gambino crime family, and their influence over the building, over the the construction business. They pretty much controlled everything, and the ideas of cutting corners, using cheaper alloys and stuff to construct that doesn't sound like that's that impossible to conceive to where when the planes hit it, they would come down, right?
Uh,
Now, Building 7, that's a different story, and there's, I don't still see anything that can logically explain Building 7, and that's something completely on, different, and there's other things, like the JFK. I think the person that most likely had JFK killed was LBJ. He had the most to get from it. It was done in Texas. And then right after that, we went to Vietnam. And my dad told me this in the 70s, man. He said that Vietnam was not about anything but oil. And supposedly there's all this drillable oil reserves in that the China Ocean. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. But it's up there where Indonesia and Vietnam and all those islands are.
China Sea. It's the
Yeah,
Indochina Peninsula.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly,
it's the shale deposits that they wanted.
exactly, exactly. So I don't know. That makes the most sense, the most logic. I mean, you know what I'm saying? What do you
Uh,
think?
well, okay. He rest in peace. My father poured the foundations for those buildings.
Hmm.
The entire World Trade Center complex. He poured every foundation there. Uncle Paul, may he rest in peace. He was the foreman in charge of the steel going up in the two main towers. I'm not sure about the other towers, but I know for a fact that the renovations were going on that day, like Tara was saying, because my Uncle Paul was there uh, looking over everything when the towers got hit on site when they got hit that day because he was a senior consultant. He was already semi-retired for the local crane fitters union.
Right.
Um, Now this is the thing. Still alive at the time, if I recall. But this is the thing. That thing was built. Sure that it was built. That may he rest in peace. Big Paul Castellano was in charge of the family. Was on the level.
Okay.
He wanted to bring everything legit.
Right.
He was known for he wasn't a he wouldn't have I think cut corners himself on that. Was the one that was calling the shots because Big Paul, a lot of the old timers, like my father specifically, like working on a job when Big Paul was calling the shots because Big Paul was known for doing it the right way. That's actually the reason that that fucking Mute Vam Gotti got went and shot Big Paul. He
Yeah,
was
because he wouldn't
Gotti
play
was
ball, right?
term that we have Mute Vam. That's basically like sleeping in like a bus station bathroom.
Uh-huh.
They're a motevam
Low
and
life.
shit.
Right.
Yeah. Now this is the thing. When the towers fell, now look, my whole family, and not just my family, my whole neighborhood, everyone in this neighborhood, they're all pipe fitters union, carpenters union. Everyone worked in that building. I mean, everyone worked in that building. My brother-in-law actually, he was telling me I felt bad for him. He lost his entire crew that day because they were actually in there doing renovations when the damn building got hit. He went out the night before and went out drinking, and he told me he's like, I lost people I've been working with for over 25 years.
Terrible.
When those towers got hit, I talked to my entire family, and like I was just saying, and other people who worked in those buildings, and both said the same thing. There's no way on earth those buildings are going to fall the way that they fell. Look, I I watched those towers fall with my own eyes. Away, especially if they're that tall, unless it's a controlled explosion, and that's it. Anyone says they want to call me some sort of 9/11 truth or whatever. Look, we built the damn things. It's that simple. Unless you're controlling the explosion and making them fall that way. That's it. They can say whatever the fuck they want. There is no way on earth that those buildings were going to fall that way naturally.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things that can't be explained is that because you know you have to set certain charges in a certain order, like going up, right?
My Uncle Jerry's the guy who brought down Pilgrim State
Oh wow,
building. Uncle Jerry was the one that did the charges.
oh wow.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm saying I talked to the whole family about this, and we were all in agreement. Like we got on the phone when this shit happened. Like, what's going on? This happened. Why are these? Who brought this down? Like, seriously, inquiries were made and questions were asked the minute this happened. We didn't sit on our hands. Like, everyone got on the phone. That was some inside shit. That was CIA taking over.
Here's a question, because this is something that Doozy Q pointed out to me yesterday that I had forgotten completely about. Like the year or 2 years before, there was an attempt to blow up the building in the, I'm sorry, to blow up the building from the, what is it, the parking lot that was underneath the
Parking garage.
you right, exactly.
That was about 10 years earlier.
Okay.
To blow up the parking garage. I remember, actually, I was in that day with my father, and I remember it when it had happened. My uncle was actually in charge of when they had to redo the entire parking garage and reinforce the structures and all that shit. And that's what he was there for that day. That day, they had just finished repairing from that previous attack when they brought the van in full of explosives.
Oh.
Them to reinforce those structures properly to make sure that the buildings were going to, not fall over.
Right.
Now, that was the other thing a lot of people don't realize is they just finished reinforcing those buildings that day to prevent them from doing the exact thing that they did. There's a little bit too many friggin' bells going off and too many red flags. I don't buy that shit. You can sit here and say whatever you want. That was an inside job. They brought those buildings down. A lot of people, they try to say W was in on it. You've seen the press conference the same as me. They come in and they tell him what happened. That man looked like he wanted to shoot somebody.
Yep.
Not in on that. He got bamboozled. They probably came in and whispered in his ear, "It happened on your watch. You're fucked. You got to deal with it."
Right.
And that, I watched his body language, the rest of that thing, and a lot of people are like, "Why didn't he leave immediately?" My thing is this: what are you even gonna do? Seriously, spending the other extra 5-10 minutes with those kids. The thing goes, until he's supposed to leave. He gets up and says, "Oh, okay, there's an emergency. All of my guys are on top of it anyway right now, but I'm going to leave anyway and alarm all the kids. So just stay here for the extra 5 minutes." They gave him flack for that shit. Same way they gave him flack for everything like Mullins. And you can't put that shit on Bush's head just for the simple fact of, from a local level to a state level, he's the president. He's not a magician.
Exactly.
The whole thing. A lot of people were mad at Bush. Now, granted, I'm not a Bush apologist, but my thing is this: tenuous. You can't sit here and put the blame on Bush. What you should put the blame on is the board. That was a fuck up, a bad one.
When you say the board, what do you mean?
Across the board, I mean from
okay, everybody across
from a county, from a town level to a county level to a city level, state level to federal.
Yeah, you keep dropping out a little bit, and I don't know how to fix that, dude. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's OBS. It's not you. That's the thing. That's why when people get on Bush, I say to them, "How much credit are you giving to the government then?"
Right. So you say that this is that you postulate that there's a deep state component to it, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
We have the greatest military on Earth. How many planes did they steal that day that everyone no one noticed? And all their tracking devices? No one noticed it. Busy airspace on Earth. Airspace on Earth. After one plane slams into a building, you don't think that they're going to be on high enough alert to notice that another fucking plane shows up?
Right.
All right, I was born at night, not last night. I don't buy it. Years ago when they said it, I don't buy it now.
Right. And there's like so many questions about, the way that there was somebody was pointing out that there's something that happened, that there was like a $4 trillion deficit or something like that in the Pentagon, and the part of the Pentagon that got hit was the part that had all that information, and they had just let that information out, and it was like conveniently it was burned up and destroyed in the in the plane crash. Um,
That. It's not politically correct. I don't want to get you in any trouble, but I'm sure you're familiar with the term. It's an old term. It's very popular around here. It's called Jewish lightning.
yeah, I don't know. Explain that to me.
Jewish lightning was the term that they used to use in Brooklyn back in the day. Something would get burned down, report the insurance, and they're like, how did this fire start? Oh, it got struck by lightning. So the term was coined Jewish lightning. They were burning
Okay,
the shit down to get the insurance, but they were saying it was lightning.
got you.
Oh, the Pentagon around here, everyone was saying that's Jewish lightning. They were trying to scrub their records. And you know what? At this point, I don't fucking care. Much teeth and so much steam, these deep state douchebags. I don't like using that term deep state. These clowns, the decency of such hyperbole.
Got you.
But let me put it to you like this. I get so aggravated thinking about this shit. Blood boil. Shit that Obama did, like with the Iranian money, his money, shit that
Go and
Clinton
get
did.
Uzuki something nice, Irate.
The hell?
Holy shit. Yeah, Jack T. Ripper just donated $100 and told me to get Uzi Q something nice. Thanks, man. That's awesome. Shit.
That is really cool.
God damn.
Yeah. You had been asking though about Kennedy because I could go off about something else, but I wanted to talk to you about the thing with Kennedy really quick.
Okay.
I talk to you about what happened with Kennedy, why he got shot.
Well, there's so many different theories about what happened. I just went the shortest distance. Is a straight line, so that's why I always go with the LBJ um, route. So tell me what you think, man.
Oh, and what I know is this: both of the Kennedy brothers, not just JFK, they got clipped because they brought it on themselves. See, what had happened was Joe Rumrunner Kennedy, he had made a deal with the mafia into office. He wanted to get Jack into the White House, and he wanted Bobby as Attorney General. Sam Giancana controlled the Midwest. So this is when I just wanted to tell you and all your listeners, just to let you know, there is no such thing mafia member. Think about that. Not one mafia member is a Republican. None of them. They're all Democrats.
Wow.
He's a Democrat.
That says a lot right there, doesn't it?
Same thing with all the Irish, the Westies. Stone married my mother's first cousin.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. My my whole Irish side of my family, they all vote Democrat, hardcore, even to this day.
I'm saying, Jackie Featherstone from the Westies in Hell's Kitchen.
Yep.
He married my mother's cousin. Jackie Featherstone Jr. is my first cousin. I see him every summer at the family reunions.
Wow.
That's actually the reason my mother and father got married, was because his ex-husband was Vinny Boy Pisano from and my father, his three brother-in-laws, my father's sisters, each of their husbands owned all county karting and all city karting. Was because my mother's first cousin was Jackie Featherstone, and my father's brother-in-laws were all these guys who owned all these karting businesses, and my mother and father were both civilians and not like involved in anything.
Right.
I think it was in '64, that's when the mafia was trying to move into Hell's Kitchen. Because if you look at a map of Manhattan, the whole map is red, and there's this little blue square in the middle. And what it is, the red is all the territory controlled by the mafia, and the blue square is Hell's Kitchen. It was controlled by the Irish. They couldn't get in there because the Irish were like maniacs. So they tried this approach, like through diplomacy, and they introduced my parents to each other, like to actually like form a bridge so they could move into that neighborhood peaceably.
Ah.
I'm actually the product of organized crime politics. I wouldn't be on this earth if that didn't happen.
Hey.
So, pedigree, because it backs up what I'm about to tell you about what happened with Kennedy. Now, and he made a deal with Sammy Giancana and the Chicago Mafia.
You're talking about Joe, Daddy Joe?
And Joe Kennedy,
right.
The father. To get his two sons into office.
Yep.
To office.
Yeah, the only son that was really worth a shit was Joe Senior, and he was Junior, and he was killed in doing an experiment for the United States. We can get back to that later too. How he died, flying the first drone.
Yeah. They get into office. One thing that these two idiots start doing, they start going after the Teamsters and the Mafia. So you're going after the Teamsters and you're going after the Mafia after they just got you into office. That's not smart.
I'm sorry I'm laughing.
They did.
It's not very intelligent.
Yeah. Sam Giancana was seeing Phyllis McGuire from the McGuire sisters. Bobby and Jack were seeing the other two sisters, and from what I understand, they were screwing around with her too. Really didn't make Sam Giancana like them even more. This was the second thing that they did that pissed him off. Now look, I hate to say it and make us sound like we are stereotypes. Things that are true about these folks. And what the Kennedys did next, the Mafia decided, okay, this is enough. We're blowing these Irishmen away. What they did was they turned around and they screwed around with Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Was married to?
DiMaggio. Right?
DiMaggio was like the second coming of Christ to these people.
To the Italian, exactly, the Italian American.
Yeah. After the father makes a deal with the Godfather, and the sons turn around and screw the Godfather over, then they turn around and they take turns diddling the Godfather's wife. Then they turn around and they diddle the Godfather's idol's wife.
Good God, the way you tell it, man, it sounds like, they're just deliberately just flipping their fingers at these people, man. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's like...
Why they got blown away the way they did.
Yeah, exactly. My see, I don't think of things, and then when you explain it like that, I'm going, holy shit, no wonder they got fucking killed. Um,
Yeah.
man, you, you, you don't sit where you eat is the old saying, man. You know?
People say to me, they're like, well, Scooby, it sounds a little bit far-fetched that they're going to, blow away a president and an attorney general. And I say to them, I go, there's a movie. It's based on a true story. I say that I tell people I want them to watch the movie because they show the actual footage. It's what happened in Palermo, Sicily. And what had happened was there was a judge there, Falcone. And what Judge Falcone did was Judge Falcone went after the mafia. You know what the mafia did to get him? They blew up a whole highway.
God.
Highway. I tell people this. I'm like,
So that's what
they
makes it like Mr. Falcone.
okay. But yeah, they assassinated the chief of police. Then they assassinated the mayor of the city. They assassinated the governor. And they went after and assassinated the president of Italy. Seriously, the fact that these rum-running Irishmen decided that they were going to do this, the fucking balls on them. I'll give the Kennedys credit. My God, they got some brass, shiny ones that must have clanged when they walked, because I would never do that.
Yeah,
Seriously.
no doubt, dude. That is like, I mean, when you tell it like the way you're telling it, man, it makes it sound like, God damn, these dudes were like, they were just some arrogant motherfuckers, man, and and thought they could get away with that shit. Not even, not even the Pope could get away with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Hell, any idiot like me knows that shit. I mean, you just don't flip the mob off, man. And if you do, you apologize.
I was raised to believe that. I talk about it all the time. The movie Goodfellas. The guy in the bar that got beaten to death. That was my father's best friend and coworker. To work one day.
Oh, the made man, the guy that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guy
yeah.
that they beat to death in the bar and then they bury.
Yeah, that Tommy. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Guy's name in the movie is Billy Bats.
Billy Bats, exactly. Go get your shine box.
Yeah, it's him. That guy. That was actually my father's best friend. That night when he was in the bar, he had left from having dinner at my house.
My goodness.
So when I was a kid, I was raised with a very distinct thing put into my head by my father. Listen, these people killed Kennedy. That's the way I was raised. It's not a conspiracy. The way I was taught, just like some people will tell you, when it comes to the gospel, it's true and you can't argue it. My thing is this. James Giancana waxed. It's that. It's that simple. He brought it on himself and he got greased. All that stuff that Oliver Stone put in his movie, it's colorful and it's great, but the meat of it is all of these people were just to what had really went down. And what really went down was just a well-organized mob hit. The CIA tapped them on the shoulder. Of course, the CIA was involved in this, but a lot of people don't understand. The mafia was going to do this anyway.
Right.
If you're going to go to the supermarket anyway, and I ask you, can you go to the supermarket? You say to me, sure, I'll go to the supermarket. You're going anyway, but you're not going to tell me that because it's advantageous to you at that point in time. Same thing. Talking to each other like, we got to kill Kennedy. We got to kill Kennedy. And then the CIA shows up. Look, we need you guys to kill Kennedy. They all look at each other. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, we can do that for you.
Yeah, seriously.
Man.
Hey, Six.
Okay, how's everybody doing?
Hey, dude.
Hanging in there, man.
How are you is the question.
My feet My feet. I'm having trouble convincing my feet that I'm not guilty of treason.
They are angry at you. You've got some mad dogs.
Mad dogs are angry at me. I even put in those nice the squishy insoles. They saved my
The
back
worst
today.
thing for you. Believe it or not.
Really? Yeah,
To my podiatrist. Remember I told you I've been having trouble with my feet?
Yeah.
For the past 10 years, I've been using those Dr. Scholl's insoles. He screwed my feet up.
Well, I only use those for when I'm at work.
Give me a second, okay?
Using.
I'm using the ones that have the gel. The kind of those things that you throw against the wall, like little octopuses you throw against the wall and they slide down ever so slowly. It's made of virtually the same material, but it's not sticky.
My insoles too. I have Dr. Scholl's. I'm just saying I had just because I walked so much all over Manhattan when I was younger. I put in I had the gel soles, then I put the double pillow ones on top of them, and then I had the ones for your back. So I had my sneakers felt like Cadillacs, but
I don't do so much walking as I lift a lot of heavy things and take heavy things to other places. So it's not. I don't really do a lot of walking.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take just a brief break, guys, because I have to. All right. Thank you.
Got it.
So how you been today, Scoob?
Hanging in there. Back on Twitter.
You're back on Twitter. So the campaign was a success.
I like to say that, but get this. It's my original Twitter account.
How about that? You still remember the password?
It unlocked. It's no longer suspended.
Interesting.
I was suspended for roughly 9 years.
Wow.
I started screwing with Obama and Clinton when they were both in office, and when Cuomo got into office, that's the only reason I got a Twitter account was because Cuomo had won and got elected also. On a tooth and nail going after all of them. And I got suspended on Twitter, and I got suspended on, oh wow, maybe my Facebook account that I had linked to that is back up. I got to look at that now later.
Hey, this is if something's messed up, give it time.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that my account was back up. It was like mind blowing because you look at it. If you go and you look at my Twitter account, it said joined in June of 2009.
Yep.
And it's 2018. It's June of 2018. It unlocked. I had to think maybe a week or two, and I got suspended. And it just all of a sudden it unlocked today.
How about that?
Just because it was just a shade under a decade that decided I'd been punished enough.
Dig it.
Yeah,
well,
I was gonna, like.
Hey, welcome back to Twitter, man. There are plenty of crazy leftists you can go after.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of sending out like a tweet about something, just something really nerd worthy, but I don't have enough people that are following me yet to appreciate it.
Oh, my bladder thanks you guys. Thank you.
Oh, go on. Hey,
yes.
You can always go after Poopy Spaz again.
I was thinking of doing that.
Poopy Spaz.
I got a few different things I could do.
Crazy. Oh,
so, Irate Prostate, how have you been, man?
Busy, crazy in a weird way. Yeah.
My cat's yelling at me. And what's
he's wanting to know where you been, dude.
Yeah. Either that or the water bowl is empty. Or she thinks the water bowl is empty and is accusing me of treason. My feet and the cat are accusing me of treason. Can't win. Can't win.
You can't, dude. So how's the new job? Tell me about it.
It's a lot of busting ass.
Yeah. So
But it'll keep the lights on.
That sleep feels good, doesn't it? Oh.
It certainly does. Yeah.
And that alarm is a motherfucker.
It is.
Yeah. I've had those. You know, I remember one time I worked waterproofing housing foundations, and we had to get out by 5, just so that we could knock off by 2, 1:30 or 2, right?
Yeah.
And I was literally carrying 2 5-gallon buckets of gravel back and forth, because I was bottom bitch, so I had to carry the gravel.
Yeah.
And that meant I had to shovel it and stuff. So, you make about 30 or 40 trips. And I tell you, I was ragged out. I couldn't do shit when I got home. And I'd fall asleep. And as soon as I got good asleep, that alarm would go off. And I'd be, oh my God. And I said, fuck this shit at some point, I'm sure. And I quit because I'm a pussy.
Well, I don't think you're a pussy. I just think some jobs they're not structured well. So you end up busting a lot of ass.
Yeah, there's not an equitable there's not an equitable distribution of work between all the parts of the body.
Right.
And the most important one is the one between the ears,
Pretty much.
So you get I don't know, your brain gets to do all kinds of weird shit, and your body's going, okay, more, bring in more, really, more?
Yep.
Well, good, man. I'm glad that at least the bills will be paid. You will have a place to live, So
keep me in the cat's bed.
That's right. That's right. So cool. Well, good, man. I was telling them earlier that, and I'm crunching cans. Sorry about that. And it's not beer cans. It's just regular old. I've been on a Canada Dry kick, ginger ale. Yeah, I'm down with the ginger ale for some reason right now.
First time I had Canada Dry ginger ale was, believe it or not, on an airplane.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It's about 5 or 6.
I think I'd had someone on a plane at some point too. That's weird.
Yeah.
I've got a memory like that, so maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being codependent. But yeah, say hey, kitty. What's up? What's your cat's name again?
I don't like the dogs that are on stream, but
We'll just call her Pussy.
I just call her Kitty on stream, but
that's right, baby.
I'll DM Uzi and give her my cat's name.
Sweet. Oh, dude. So yeah, it's like I was telling him earlier. It's like yesterday. Got caught in this. I usually do a thing before I come on to the to the chaos stream with Vetran Mountainman.
Mm-hmm.
And I do this thing where I do some shit-faced Alex Jones, or transdimensional sober Alex Jones, or whatever the fuck he is that day. And and it's part of this deal that I'm doing with Red Pill Shark is the guy's name, and Sir Adamantine and Tennessee Marine, occasionally pop into. So. And then afterwards, we got caught in this conversation, and then it went long, and then Sir Adamantine all of a sudden goes, let's stream, and opens up, and then, it's like 4 hours later, it's like, oh, shit, but it is what it is. So,
yeah.
Yeah. But I did miss hanging out with veterans, so
Yeah,
and y'all, of course. You know.
yeah. Well, when Weebo Jones gets back, I think we try to get everybody on the stream. I don't know. That's been
Maybe this
that's
goddamn planet will correct itself at some point. I mean,
hopefully.
dude, as soon as she left, just shit went weird on the interwebs.
Yeah,
So
kind of did.
I'm blaming her. I'm blaming her.
Blame it on Weebo.
Blame Weibo. Hashtag. I had that hashtag running for about 10 minutes there. So, um, but yeah, it's been a goofy. We haven't done any news really any yet. We've been talking a little conspiracy type stuff. Talked a little bit about D-Day, of course.
Yeah. Well, I'll hop on the old chaos news and
we could use
read us.
the dulcet tones of the next 6 minutes reading us the news, the weird news.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, unfortunately, it seems as though I guess the last, well, the oldest Munchkin died at age 98.
Oh wow!
Jerry Marin.
Oh, bless him.
Oh dude.
I don't know if he was the last remaining Munchkin, but he was certainly the oldest. Let's see. Wizard of Oz's oldest Munchkin, Jerry Marin, has died at the age of 98. The American actor who starred opposite Judy Garland in the 1939 classic died last week after years of suffering from dementia. Jerry had been living in San Diego nursing care facility in his later years, TMZ reports, and his funeral was held over the weekend at Forest Lawn in Hollywood. Jerry, who wore a green checkered shirt and matching trousers in the film, was hit with false death rumors before he was reportedly battling pancreatic cancer, but a friend told TMZ at the time that the actor wasn't ill. Just lying lie. I don't know what that means. Anyhow.
I think it meant lying low.
Lying low, okay. He was the last surviving actor of the Wizard of Oz's Lollipop Guild. So yeah, all the Lollipop Guild are gone now. That's too bad. Jerry was born Gerard Merengue in 1920, one of 10 children, the rest of who were of average height, but Jerry used his 3'6" stature to his advantage, breaking into show business at the age of 18 when he filmed his first scenes for The Wizard of Oz. His first appearance in the film comes when he hands Judy Garland's Dorothy an oversized lollipop, and producers picked him to stand in the middle of the Munchkin trio. He had caught their attention with his singing and dancing talent, and fame soon followed. Jerry also appeared in the Our Gang comedy shorts in the 1930s at the circus as an ape on Battle for Planet of the Apes in 1973. Let's see. A role in Little Cigars soon followed, which he portrayed alongside fellow Munchkin Billy Curtis, a gang of midgets on a crime spree. Off screen, Jerry joined his friend Billy Barty in organizing the not-for-profit group Little People of America, which provides support for people with dwarfism and their families.
Yeah, Barty was the most famous. That name I recognize.
Yeah. Billy Barty. He played Macintosh in UHF.
We represent the Lollipop Guild. Oh, damn, I can't.
Yeah.
See, that's yeah.
He was in a handprint and footprint ceremony outside of Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood in 2013, but wasn't seen out in public much from 2011 onwards, eschewing the traveling Oz festivals that he and other Munchkin actors had attended for years. Let's see. In 2016, a feature by The Hollywood Reporter found the Munchkins were paid less than the dog that played Toto for their part in film history, earning just $50 a week compared to the $125 a week raked in by the dog's trainer. Jerry was married to his beloved wife Elizabeth Barrington from 1975 until her death in 2011 at the age of 69. On May 24th, 2017, Jerry shared his last Instagram post, a black and white picture of himself with Elizabeth on their wedding day. A happy anniversary to my lifelong love, R.I.P., he poignantly captioned it. Well, that's too bad. Well, bon voyage. Bon voyage.
If it's, tell me if I can still do this good. I used to be able to do this good when I was a kid. We represent the lollipop girl, lollipop girl, lollipop girl. We represent the lollipop
girl. Bravo, bravo.
That's excellent. Scoobie. Yes. The multifaceted Scoobie. We find another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a few years.
Did you ever do that to anybody where they were tripping and shit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I bet
that
yeah. That's
yeah,
funny.
I actually, one of the things I used to do when people would like, let's say they drop acid in front of me.
Yeah.
I can actually switch my voice like that in mid-sentence. I'd start talking to them and I'd fuck with them. I'd be like, all right, listen, the pizza delivery is coming here. Whether I'm going to put it because, I can put it on the shelf or I can put it over here on the table. It's up to you. I mean, I can put it wherever. I mean, where do you want it? And they'd look at me and they'd be like, what?
How did you not even get into voice acting?
I did do the radio for a while. It's my politics.
Ah.
That's the whole thing.
I fucking believe it. Definitely.
You gotta realize, like, a lot of people, they talk to me and they're like you just said, you can do this, you can do that. How come you didn't have a career with it? The wrong thing to the wrong person. That's all it was.
Yep.
You didn't kiss ass to the Democratic Party in New York.
That's exactly what it was. Que sera, sera.
All right.
Let's see. Got another story. That last story was, of course, brought to us by our senior Florida correspondent, Colleen Bernier. This is a Florida man story. We haven't had one of those in a while. Okay. This guy's a real winner. What his mother said he did before battering his 70-year-old uncle really hurt. A Florida man began a beating of his 70-year-old uncle by lifting the senior citizen out of a chair by his genitals.
Oh my God.
According to an arrest report. Keith Clopine of Sebastian was arrested and charged with battery on a person over 65. Though Clopines has "I love you, Mom Patricia" tattooed on his chest. It was Patricia Clopine who gave Sebastian cops the most detailed account of what happened around 2 a.m. Tuesday after her son began drinking. Her 70-year-old brother, William Stansel, told police that he and Keith Clopine had been in a scuffle. That's one way of saying it. Patricia Clopine and Keith, an unemployed 5-time Florida prison resident, told Stansel he needed to find his own place and move out of the house. Yep. Keith then approached William, who was sitting in a chair in the living room, grabbed him by his private parts, and pulled him out of his chair, the report reads. Keith then punched him with a closed fist in his face, causing a bleeding cut over his right eye. Keith had William in the corner, punching him until she pulled Keith off of him. Cops said Keith Clopine was visibly intoxicated as he denied hitting his uncle and claimed his uncle pushed him. Clopine is in Indian River County Jail on $1,000 bond. His previous long-term stays behind bars included a year for cocaine possession, a grand theft auto, 3 years for 4 months for burglary, grand theft, and criminal mischief, and almost 6 months for aggravated stalking, violating a court order. Good old Keith Clopine.
Yep.
Sounds like a real
This
winner.
guy is 8 years older than me.
Cause
this
to
guy
suck.
looks
Hey, good to see
30
you. Death
years
Hadouken!
older than me.
One of my favorite names to say. We got a new face. We got.
I'm only separated by this guy by 8 years. This guy looks 30 years older than me. I kid you fucking not.
It's got to at least make you feel good, reinforce the fact you made better decisions in life than this Yahoo.
Yep, this guy could have stood to drink a cup of tea or green tea. Good gosh, let me I want to throw you this one here, Scoob. Have a look at this dude.
He's really that good, huh?
Oh yeah, this guy's wow. Okay, here you go, Mr. Scoob. Where's your profile? There you are, and there you go.
I can't wait to see this.
Drink it in, my friend. Drink it in.
If you'll check the new general, I popped something in there too. If you want to check it out.
Sure. This guy looks like all the life has been sucked right the fuck out of him.
Good old picture of Cindy Nixon.
He stuck my. No, the new general, not the NSF, not general anymore. LOL. Because of nudity.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Oh, the thing about David Cassidy?
Yeah.
Oh, he passed away recently, didn't he?
Check it out.
Lied about his dementia.
But he lied about that, and he lied about his drinking. So what? He was just still drinking and told him he had dementia instead?
Right. He was supposedly sober for like the last 25 years of his life, and he had been drinking almost the whole time. And the dementia wasn't actually dementia; it was alcoholism. Which so the bad memory, not being able, the stumbling, slurred speech, all that stuff can be,
That's probably why he's been estranged from his daughter for so long.
Yeah. That's why she
couldn't handle his drinking.
Yeah, she was so good in fucking in Arrow.
Yeah.
Because her dad is an alcoholic in that, and they're estranged. So. Yeah. That's real believable. She was shitty at first, but then she got a lot better. She's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very pretty.
Oh, you mean the original Black Canary, who's now the White Canary?
Yeah. No.
It's who's the Black Siren was the original Black. It's convoluted.
She's Earth 2's original.
Black Siren is
Black
from
Canary.
the alternate universe.
Yeah.
Gets brought over. Yeah, I know.
They really made fun of that in Flash this last season.
Yeah.
They're trying to explain it to somebody who was kind of unfamiliar with it. And it's like, oh, it's just a bunch of convoluted mess.
Yeah, and White Canary is now with the
Legends.
Legends traveling time, trying to fix time, or it's fucked up.
Had a chance to watch that show yet?
They got the new season up right now.
Yeah,
I have
get
to watch
around
it.
to it. It's everything of that nature, so I don't get to watch anything really.
Yeah, let's. I'm going to give the chat some audience participation. Let's see. I'm going to paste that article there, and so they can look at this guy, and they can look at my videos and realize that I am only separated by this dude by 8 years.
Damn.
Blowing.
It is. Holy shit.
What the hell did he do?
It's a better question. What the hell did he not do? So I think this guy's done everything under the sun except
what's
die.
the age difference between you two?
8 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's 49. I'm 41.
Damn.
He's a couple of years your junior, Prostate, and you see how bad this guy looks?
I look good.
That's what I'm saying. Look at this poor bastard.
He's down.
Holy shit. Keith Clopine.
If I wasn't tied down. No, kidding. Just kidding. Just joking.
Oh, is Uzi going to throw something at you?
No, she's going to withhold something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Didn't mean any of it. I promise.
Better brush off the futon.
Hey, dude, we got a click-clack, man, which is like a advanced futon, which is pretty cool, and it's got these little legs that come out of the back of it.
Cool.
It's very comfortable. It's hard as a rock, but I like hard beds, so yeah.
Yeah, I have medium firm is my best.
Yes.
Like rock solid. It's from when I was younger. My father insisted. We bought all surplus like military cots.
Yeah.
My father, yeah, he was a bit strict like that. His thing was if you grow up on one of those cots, you won't have to adjust when you enlist, because I was raised to enlist. And the other part of it was his mentality was you'll have a good back.
Well, shit, this thing's killing my back.
Indeed.
Sleep on a soft bed because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's just like beyond me.
Yeah, I can't really sleep on like overly soft. 'Cause I don't sleep well. I need something with a little backbone to it. Gives me a little.
Roommate had been looking for a fold-out couch so that I'd have something to sleep on. Couch, and I'm like, no. The bars that are in the bed, no matter how I position myself, the bar is either in my lower back or in my hips.
Try the click-clack. Try a click-clack.
Well, I told her get a futon and we're good.
Yeah. The futon and click-clack would be fine with you. That's pretty cool. So.
Bulging discs in my lower back and bad hips, so fold-out couches do not agree with me.
That sucks.
I've heard of this happening before. It's a bit of a spoiler. I'll tell you about it after I read this. A doctor saved a woman's life after noticing a lump on her neck while watching her on HGTV. It turned out she had cancer. Nicole McGinnis was searching for a beach house on HGTV's beachfront bargain hunt, but she got a life-saving phone call instead. Dr. Eric Voigt, a New York-based ear, nose, and throat surgeon from NYU Langone Health. Did I pronounce that correctly? Langone Health. Told ABC News he was watching McGinnis's episode when he noticed a suspicious lump on her neck, something only a medical professional would consider alarming with the naked eye. As a head and neck surgeon, I'm trained to notice these sort of things, he said. The unlikely diagnosis is similar to what happened to Tarek El Moussa in 2013. An eagle-eyed nurse was watching reruns of Flip or Flop when something caught her eye, a concerning lump on Tarek's neck, which turned out to be cancerous. After spotting the mass on McGinnis, Voigt immediately tried to find a way to warn her, but was faced with the challenge of not knowing her name because it wasn't mentioned on the show, so he turned to social media for help. Quote, I'm watching a TV show and notice this woman has a left thyroid mass, he wrote on his Facebook page. Quote, she needs a sonogram and fine needle biopsy. I wonder if she knows and hope it's benign. According to a second post Voigt shared on Facebook Monday, he was able to reach McGinnis through numerous connections. Yeah, there was a story about maybe 10, 15 years ago. There was a doctor watching a soap opera. There was an actor on the soap opera and had a funny growth on his neck that the doctor identified as cancerous. So he called up, I believe, the studio, and got finally got a hold of his agent. And then, of course, the actor got to have that looked at. So it's interesting.
Everyone, that I'm just glad that person, found out about it and got the treatment they needed.
Yeah.
Just
I can't. It's been so long. I don't remember what the actor's name was, but it was he'd noticed it. This doctor had noticed that.
that's pretty cool though. It's one of those, man. If the person had like, done something a second too early or a second later, their whole, the whole dynamic would change. I'm
Yeah,
always fascinated by that kind of shit. It's just amazing how stuff happens in time, sometimes. So
yeah.
you never know.
Never know. Well, Colleen. Um, wow. All right. For those of you, oh my gosh. Okay. This one's gonna have you wincing, everybody.
That good, huh?
Yeah. Doctors remove foot-long aubergine from man's intestines after he shoved it up his rectum for a very odd reason.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What did they remove a foot long what?
Aubergine.
Yeah,
It's
explain to that
Mm.
to us people who speak English or who aren't sexually fucked up.
Like a Toblerone.
I
Toblerone.
thought he was talking about something like a baguette.
It's related to the eggplant. It's a relative of the eggplant. So it's essentially he shoved an eggplant up his ass. Anyhow, the long glossy aubergine remained in the man's body for 2 days before he finally sought medical attention. See, doctors had removed a foot-long aubergine that got stuck inside a man's intestines after he shoved the fruit up his rectum to help him. Okay, let me read this again. Doctors have removed a foot-long aubergine that got stuck inside a man's intestines after he shoved the fruit up his rectum to help him go to the toilet.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking stupid. I mean,
The man,
Not shove it up there.
yeah, the man was constipated and he was so desperate to cure his ailment that he thought the long glossy food would do the trick. It was claimed.
Know why he probably did that? Probably told him that it makes a great enema. He probably forgot, like the part where you're supposed to put it like into a blender and make a smoothie out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drink it or some shit. Either that or he was definitely having, some kind of sexual and he just couldn't tell look, man, I'm feeling really good and the moment it just slipped, and it's stuck up there. You know what I'm saying? That's just,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd rather say, yeah.
Ugh. Oh my gosh. But his DIY treatment, which he thought would expand his colon, backfired.
Oh, it expanded it, I'm sure.
Yep, the 12-inch aubergine remained in the 50-year-old man's body for 2 days after he suffered abdominal pain and vomiting before he finally sought medical attention.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm looking at this thing. It's fucking huge.
I'm just
Golly.
glad. I'm glad there's not a panel that's like you have to go before, so they have to decide, you know what I'm saying? Like a death panel, like, okay, this guy stuck this thing up his ass. All right, does he get treatment or do we let him die? Man, fuck him. Man?
Plant him in the
Let him die.
ground.
If he's
Teal.
that stupid, he needs to be taken out the gene pool.
It's the
Oh,
Obama
God.
death panels.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is a big fucking fruit. Damn, that's a big eggplant too.
About the size of a second grader, huh?
He stuck a
looks like
Muyan up his ass.
Damn, you could pick this thing up and like
Stop calling
probably
it
club
an
somebody.
eggplant. You're gonna make me not want to buy eggplant next time I go to the flea market.
It's an aubergine. Okay, this big ass aubergine thing. You could pick it up and club somebody to death with. Golly, that was up his ass. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like an eggplant. I mean, so it says it's in the family. It's just another term for eggplant.
Okay.
So it is a fucking eggplant.
All right. The man told doctors The man told doctors in China that he had been suffering from constipation because this was a home remedy. Okay, one of the famed East Asian home remedies.
Well, it's got it's got nicotine in it. It's not a large amount, but there's enough. I bet if you take it, nicotine can make you poop if you and caffeine.
I want to give this guy the benefit of the doubt that he just misheard the instructions.
He was
you're
jacking off. Come on. Yeah, I'm just saying.
You thinking he was trying to stimulate his own prostate with it?
You think?
This thing is so fucking huge. How did that fit inside that little Chinese man?
Oh my gosh, that's
it's like a fucking toothpick through a olive.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I don't want to speculate with these visual images that are dancing in my head like sugar plums.
It's big.
It's huge, dude.
I'm looking at my lava lamp here, and my lava lamp's comparable to the same size, and I could club a seal to death with this thing.
Shit. Oh, far out, dude.
It's really fucked up. This just made me think of David Carradine, how he had passed away. Do you guys remember the particulars of what had happened when Carradine had passed?
Autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yep, he was hanging in his closet while he was.
They tried his chicken.
Yeah, they tried to make it like he was into hanging himself. You know, like that. They said they tried to make it rather that like it was a suicide.
Right now.
No.
This is the thing. Also, from what I understand, I had heard this like when it originally happened. He had a thing where he liked to not only be like hang himself, he had a thing, I guess, for like paying kids to like spit on him or something.
To spit,
he was a weird dude.
Spit, or did you say spit? Spit, yeah, like
spit, like to spit on him.
Expectorate.
So that's the thing was, I'm guessing he hired a bunch of kids to come in there, and he's in his tracksuit like a weirdo, hanging in the closet, and he died.
Jesus.
Damn.
I guess because
he was a weird dude. He was like the black sheep of the Carradine family, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Because those guys were, with the exception, I think of I think Robert was not so weird, but Keith and all those other guys, they were.
Robert. Yeah, Robert's the one that's still alive. That's he's just a good character actor. Yeah, very, very, very. It was in Fargo a couple of years ago. The series, the TV series. Yeah. When's the new season of that coming out?
No idea.
Me either. I love it though. I'm sorry. I do have ADD. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you and me both, man.
Have an excuse.
Let's see. This latest season of Supergirl is being released on Netflix this month. I don't know if I want to watch it. I struggled to get through the first two seasons.
It's horrible.
That was so SJW. That was almost Marvel caliber SJW.
Well, I don't think
Marvel Comics caliber.
I think they ease up on that, but it's still just shitty, man. I couldn't make it through 2 episodes before Uzi and I mean, Uzi didn't like it.
You can tell they put the best emphasis on writing with the Arrow and Flash series.
Absolutely.
To a lesser degree, the Legends of Tomorrow, but once you get to Supergirl, it's like, I don't know, they're like telepathically linked to the chick who does the Squirrel Girl comics. I don't know. It's it's really bad. It's
Oh God, I can't stand Squirrel Girl either, dude.
You know, when that first came out, that was one of my favorite new books. Then they
it was
relaunched it.
good when it first came out, but
Yeah.
anything that I've ever heard of it from it, like anything recent,
Uh-uh.
the artist is completely inept.
And the writer's worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point. And it's fucking just pure agenda driven. It doesn't even matter. The story, there's no story. Don't fuck the story. It's just virtue signal for 28 pages. I mean, okay.
I could easily see, like, in 5 or 10 years time it comes out that the artist and writer were out stabbing homeless guys on the weekend because of the patriarchy.
Patriarchy. Because Supergirl's what got me into really wanting to read DC and Marvel, because when it came to Marvel,
Supergirl was well written back in like the 70s and 80s.
The original Supergirl movie.
Right.
Oh, with Helen Slater?
Yeah. That wasn't bad.
It's fairly decent.
It wasn't shit.
In my opinion, there's no other Supergirl except for Helen Slater.
Well, it's
She's
like in Marvel,
the best actress to have played
yes,
Supergirl thus far.
Well, who would you say Marvel's equivalent of Supergirl would be? I mean, because there's pretty much analogs for all of them.
Rogue has pretty much the same things, only she can borrow abilities and or permanently steal.
Okay.
I would say there's a few.
She-Hulk?
That She-Hulk would be one of them. Can't fly.
Right.
Oh, Miss Marvel, which is where Rogue got her powers from.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That would be
the current Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who else? There's actually a few that I'm brain farting right now.
What year was this?
Scoobie, did you make it by the comic store today? New comic day?
Didn't get the chance to. I was actually, that's so weird. I'm looking at comic book shit too that we're talking about this. What year did Supergirl come out with Helen Slater?
That was 84, I believe.
Yeah, about.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was that long ago. Mm-hmm. As I remember, I had watched. We were watching Supergirl, and then I remember I went into what was it? 7-Eleven. PROSTATE. I'm going to send this to you right now on broadcasters only. I'm tagging you with it.
Okay.
Finished watching Supergirl, and I go into 7-Eleven, and I see this. And hold on. You just do this right. Here we go. I'm an idiot. Okay. And this fucked with my head so badly. I'll never forget this. I think maybe, let me see, this came out in 85. I was 6 years old. And I saw this right after we finished watching Supergirl. Shit! There we go. This on Infinite Earths. Broadcasters only.
Yeah.
Remember when that issue dropped, I bought it, and it turns out I got it around here somewhere. It's worth thousands of dollars. But this is when they killed Supergirl off, and it fucked with my head hardcore. When Roger Stern did the reboot of Superman.
I don't see this. Is this on your Discord?
Oh no, it's in the one we're in right now. It's right above. It's in the room. It's in the room right above the one we're in.
I don't really see it.
That's weird. I just posted it.
What's it called again?
You only.
I don't see it.
We're in the live studio. It's right above where we are.
I see live studio, hashtag cream stream, hashtag private, hashtag limerick dump, call-in show, rules, hot takes, not general, not safe for work, Discord links, shield quarters, and new general. I don't see any. Oh, there we go. Now I see it. Oh, yeah, I remember that cover.
A number on me. Comic books back in the 80s, comic books, they were really dark. Like,
they were.
Super dark. Yeah.
Yeah. So back in the 80s, that's when I started reading the Ghost Rider. Freaking Johnny Blaze.
By the time I got it,
my comic books in the grocery store. My mom would go grocery shopping. I go straight to the magazine aisle, sit my happy ass down, and start reading comic books.
Yep. So I would have.
Batman myself.
Yeah. Some of the best
Batman. To be fair, that's when Norm Brayfogle was doing the art.
Yeah.
You had Brayfogle doing the art, and you had Denny O'Neil doing the writing, so the books were of a quality that they pretty much lack nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, comic books have really suffered. I don't like the digital shading they're doing now. I really don't. Not my cup of tea.
I think it kind of ruined the industry.
Yeah, it just, there's a lot of things that ruin the industry. Not just the politics, but a lot of things ruin the industry. Did we lose our host?
I'm here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I had I'm sorry. I was muted. So the last 5 minutes, y'all didn't hear a word I was saying.
Oh.
Oh, and I had the cure for cancer.
Oh no.
Oh shit! It's 4 till. Jeez Louise. You want to start the out shill or the?
Okay.
Yeah. You want to hang out for a little bit or?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have work tomorrow.
Okay. Well, we can go ahead and start our out chill. And since you haven't chilled yet, let's let the lovely next 6 minutes show yourself, my friend.
I am the next 6 minutes. I am on the next 6 minutes channel. You must spell out the word 6 if you want to find it, because if you don't, you won't. I'm also on the next live streams channel. That's where I do a majority of my live streams. This is an interesting period in my YouTube career, because previously I was not working, so my schedule was completely open for anything and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much anymore, so I kind of have to bob and weave and snake and serpentine my way around my work schedule, which is a bit dynamic. I'm going to get my new week schedule this coming Sunday, so we will see how it all pans out after that. So if I have to work on Sunday, it's likely I'm not going to have a tea time stream.
Right.
But we will see how that pans out. I'm probably going to get my new schedule late Saturday, so we'll see. And that's all my stuff.
6, did you know that Scoobie got his original Twitter back?
Yes, he mentioned that just a little while ago.
Yay!
I
Yeah, and I just sent you something on it too, Scooby. Do you know who QAnon is, man?
have no idea.
Ah, I want to turn you on to something. Okay, cool. All right.
Okay.
All right. So, has anybody else got anything they want to show before we scoodulate? We got 1 minute until the top of the
Tomorrow,
hour.
hopefully, I will have a PayPal completely set up.
Sweet.
I will make sure that it gets into descriptions tomorrow night so that people can help me get a new sewing machine. The
Absolutely.
tension knob on mine busted and fixable. And I'm not joking when I say sewing machines, just basic, are 250 to 300.
Mm. Yeah.
Thing with bells and whistles. All I need is zigzag and straight stitch, and I can sew damn near anything.
Oh wow. Well then, so all you need is just a basic setup. You don't need the computer shit.
No, I don't need any of that. Although most of them come that way.
Right. Right. Get you an old school. Get you an old school singer.
Oh yeah, I'd be happy with a treadle. All
Yeah.
that does is straight stitch, but I'd be happy with it.
Yeah.
A treadle so bad, you have no idea.
Killer.
Expensive to buy, and when I see the treadle tables, I message the people. I'm like, "Is the machine still in there?" No. Well, fuck you.
No doubt. Scooby?
I'm Scooby331. You guys can follow me on YouTube. Minds, Patreon, and PayPal. And I am back on Twitter again as Scooby331. You do 8 years in the Twitter gulag, they cut you loose.
Killer.
Not again. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and make sure y'all check the information that's the description, and make sure I've got everything right for y'all. But I try to get everybody right before we go up, so I not forgot to do that. So I put it in while we were talking. So anyway, I'm Irate Prostate. Tomorrow, Big Fat Brian and I are going to be looking at at a movie that was released new last month on Netflix called Tremors: A Cold Day in Hell. And if you are a fan of the original Tremors movie, you're going to want to watch what we have to say about this one, okay? That's all I'm going to say. And special guest will be Tanuki, who requested that if we did this movie, he was going to wanted to participate. And also next week's movie anime has been selected, and it's going to be Sorugai, which is sword. So, what else? Cream Steam Friday, of course. Director Arcater is going to be our guest, and then Saturday, Drinks with Friends. So we'll see you all then. Same bat time, same bat channel. As a group, the Chaos 120 folks want to say bye-bye and check it later.